Welcome to Cebu, where you'll find some of the most delicious food you'll ever taste. Today, we're going on a culinary adventure with my new friends, Ron and Ced, two locals who know their way around the vibrant food scene here. We're going to be feasting on some classic Cebuano dishes, each one with a story to tell and a flavor explosion to savor. From tuna panga to kinilao, we'll be diving headfirst into the unique flavors and traditions of this island paradise. So let's start at SMC side and see what Cebu has to offer. This is going to be one hell of a ride. All right, I am here with Ron and Ced, two locals here from Cebu, and we are going to start off right here at Paulito's. All right, Ron, so tell me what we got here.
So hi Jeff, so what we have here are actually the pochero, Paulitos, we have the mungos, and the patatin, the humba patatin, and then utan bisaya. So utan bisaya basically is a mix of all vegetables here in the Philippines. We have the malunggay, calabasa, and okra, and even the Filipino spinach that we have here. And then for the mungos, it has sort of like a childhood connection with me, because growing up it's just something that we can afford because it's very cheap, so like we can just cook it very easily. We can add like dilis, or we call it buwad.
Yes,
ginamos here.
it's like dried fish.
Yeah, dried fish. Buwad ginamos here in Cebu. So this sort of like gives me that childhood memory, because it's something that we can afford and easily cook for Filipino that are not exactly well off.
That sounds right up my alley. I am going to completely butcher this, and I'm so sorry. But this is called mungus. They're giving me thumbs up. I know they're making fun of me right now. I know I didn't get it right. But it is a mung bean type soup, and this is what Ron was talking about. Was one of his favorites as a kid, mostly because it was inexpensive to make. So let's give it a shot. That. Yeah, the coconut milk burst through the whole thing. That is delicious. I'm trying to think what I can compare that to.
Right. There isn't quite like it.
And I'm sure it's the coconut milk, but there's got to be other things in there. It almost has like a Thai green curry flavor to it, with just a bunch of mung beans in here as well. So this is pretty awesome. Oh yeah.
And this one is the humba patatin. So it has a different take in the Cebuano humba. It's sort of like the Bisaya version of adobo, but this part is the pork kind. So more of like a fatty, also meaty part of the pork. So if you want that kind of like really meaty, get this one, but also a little bit of fat, but not too fatty, but just
right on. This is the humba, which is very similar to an adobo, except it's supposed to be more sweet and savory, as opposed to having a little bit of a sour hint to it. So fat in here. Super fatty. Oh my God, that's good. Oh man. Porky heaven. That is. Oh wow. I hate to keep saying it. You guys know this love affair that I have with pork. That fatty, gelatinous, everything that's in that there. Oh my God. That's awesome. Holy Jesus. That is amazing.
Puchero, this one is one of my favorite soup in the Philippines. You have the beef. I'm not really a big fan of
The marrow.
the marrow.
I'll eat it.
Okay.
That's all me.
Not really a big fan of the marrow, but my father actually loves the marrow of the beef. And I love this one because the beef just gives this authentic flavor. And the flavoring of the Puchero is different from the bulalo in Manila. So here it's more of like sweet, savory, umami style. Whereas in Manila, it's more very tasty and more like quite, you know, sort of like kind of thing. It's not very umami type for me, the Puchero or the bulalo in Manila as compared to the bulalo here in
This is
Cebu.
really thick. All I can say is really thick. The soup is really thick, the base is really thick compared to the bulalo in Manila.
Okay, this dish here is one of the ones I've been super excited to try here. This is the beef puchero. Just gonna start with a little bit of the broth. It's a very smooth broth that's with that. I was expecting, to be honest with you, I was expecting a little bit more bitterness to it. It's extremely smooth. Got some of the beef here, some of the broth. Oh my God. Wow. The beef is fall apart tender, packed full of flavor. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I want to get into that bone marrow. You guys just saw, I just pulled all the bone marrow out of that bone there from the Puchero. And here it is. Oh, this is some of it. It's not all of it. I got more in my bowl. But let's go. Oh my God, it's salty. Wow. Ced, tell me what this is.
So this one's also a personal favorite. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but this is what we call kinilao, which is universally it's known as ceviche internationally. But this is made of fresh fish. There's a specific term that is actually more eel-like than fish.
Eel?
Yeah, but yeah, and this is just cooked with just vinegar and coconut milk. And there's a lot of spices in there. Our usual onions that were sauteed, all of that. And then we have our little calamansi to add to the flavor to it. This is a very personal dish for me because my father used to make this every weekend. So that's why when we saw the kinilao, Jeff has to try
I will try.
that.
I will try everything. This is the kinilao. I was super excited about trying this when I came to Cebu. They're famous for it here. And the fish that you're using here is, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, is called delicacy. It's more like an eel that they're using to do this. It's basically a ceviche. I said the word eel before I put that in my mouth. So I was expecting something extremely chewy or rubbery. Not at all. It just kind of falls apart in your mouth. The meat of it is beautiful. A little bit of heat in there from some chilies. Oh yeah.
Next is the tuna panga. This is actually the jaw part of the tuna, which is really famous here in Cebu. And yeah, you're gonna try it. It has a sweet, savory taste to it, which I really like. And it's really tender, which you don't really get in other parts of the tuna.
This one here, I'm gonna do my best to pronounce this. I'm gonna mess it up, so please don't hate me. This is tuna panga. They're giving me a thumbs up again. I swear to God, I don't believe it. But I was actually recommended by a viewer today on the channel to give this a try, so I'm super excited that Ced and Ron suggested that we get this. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. And this is the jaw of the tuna. So not just the tuna cheeks, it's the whole jaw. This fish here, you pull off this beautiful little piece of the cheek out of the fish, but oh yeah, that's it right there.
another take. It's still pochero. This is still the same, but it's another take of it. It's served on a hot plate and like
With gravy.
gravy
Like a
and
sizzling
sauce.
pochero.
Sizzling pochero. So this may have a similar taste, but this is definitely more savory and thicker. It has a thicker taste to it.
So this is like an original recipe of Paulitos.
Paulitos,
So this is like what they're recommending us to have, apart from having the regular pochero. So also the sizzling pochero.
Yes.
All right, so we got a regular pochero and a sizzling pochero.
Two
I am
types of
so
pochero.
excited. You see how much food these guys are feeding me?
And of course, let's not forget the rice.
Yeah.
Always gotta have rice.
It's not
Can't do
Filipino
anything without
rice.
rice. Sizzling puchero. It's perfection. I really don't think you're gonna ask for a piece of beef to be done any better than that. Oh man. Because I don't feel like I get enough vegetables in. This one is the utang bisaya. You're saying I said it right again. Here's one thing that I'm noticing about this. They had warned me beforehand, but I didn't believe them. What I'm finding here with the Cebuano food is you're not getting that bitterness that you get with vinegar and tamarinds that I was finding in Manila. They're much more smooth. Yeah, that's amazing. It's a very smooth broth. Squash, all kinds of veggies in here. That's awesome. You two killed it with this selection here. I was a little worried when we got here. That's a little bit too high end. I figured it was going to be too much of a nicer establishment. I've been so involved in street food for so long that I'm used to being in a little roadside stall. When I see a place like this, I think of North America. So, I know you were telling me a bit about this restaurant. Is this something that you guys, is this like a regular thing for you guys to come over here and do this, or?
Not so much of a regular thing, and more of like occasional thing. If there are like big occasions in the family, if there are like parties or someone just arrived from abroad, then we take them somewhere like this kind of restaurant. Like we can share foods with the family. It's sort of very homey, especially with someone from our family. Like for example, my sister who lives in the U.S. If she would come over here in the Philippines to visit, of course we would want to bring her to a place that will just give her those memories of home and just a comfort.
And this place actually, for both of you, I mean, does this place actually give you that feeling of
Yes,
being a child? Yeah?
actually.
The food's delicious. I mean, I'm not hungry, it just, yeah.
I was surprised with this one. I've never tried the humba patatin. So when I tried this one, it's similar to how I cook my humba. It's like, it's so good.
You're a bit biased then.
I'm a bit biased, but yeah, it's so good.
It's delicious. Everything has been amazing. That humba.
Yeah.
There's something about that one there that's just like, oh my god.
Just a lot of layers and like levels of flavor in there.
Tons.
Savory and then it gets sweet and it's just really complex. But with the tuna panga, it has like a similar flavor too. Really minimal compared to that one. But if you notice, the Cebuano base flavor is sweet, savory. And yeah, that's what differentiates us from different provinces.
With the sour that you find everywhere else.
Yes.
Tell me about you two. What do you guys do?
Ced, you did the honor.
Oh, well, I am an interior designer by profession, so yeah, it's been a couple of years since I started doing it, and I also actually run our family business. It's funny because we have a food business actually. It's Lechon Manok, but I'm not really super gonna advertise it, but it's been here for 30 years. Lechon Manok and whatever. And at that, yeah, while doing interior design, I help the family business and then also do photography, interior photography at the same time. more and more into design industry.
Well, Ced and I have a similar, in terms of practice. But the difference is that I didn't take the board exam. So technically I'm not licensed in interior design, but in terms of practice, we are,
Doing the same thing.
Similar, yeah.
But I'm more focused on kitchen and furniture since my first job as a kitchen designer, and then I worked as a furniture designer for a manufacturer and exporter here in the Philippines. So that is like my sort of my
Okay, yeah.
that's my
It's very specialty. Yeah.
my specialty in terms of interior design.
I built cabinets for a lot of years. What program do you use for designing your kitchen? Don't tell me 2020.
Yes.
Oh my god.
2020. But it's interesting that you're from construction and then you go into food vlogging. The transition from being a construction guy into food vlogging is very interesting.
Are there like an overlap in terms
No.
of skills?
This is like 30 million times harder. Yeah, it's like
Someone from
In terms from-
with a technical background.
it's one thing. Like I said, because I spent 33 years in the construction industry. I can walk onto a job site tomorrow, not having done it for the last 2 years, and close my eyes and I'll do anybody that's on the job site. And I have no doubt in my mind. I am that good, and I can do it in my sleep. This is such a learning curve to like we're sitting here just having a conversation right now. Just getting to a point where I can look at that thing and not go, they're starting to piss me off. Huge meal that we just had there at Paulitas. Food was amazing there, but Ced and Ron have brought me out to Cebu IT Park right now. We stopped at a little coffee shop, and Ron's got something here that he's brought from northern Cebu. What am I looking at here, Ron?
Here I have brought something for Jeff to try torta from Canton. So this is a special torta from Canton. You see here, it's like a sugar, sort of like flambe or creme brulee, stuff like that, with some raisins to it. It's a specialty in Canton, and also budbud kabuk. It's also a specialty in Canton, and I want Jeff to try this because this is something I grew up eating when I was a child. So, bon appetit!
All right, I'm gonna try this tart. All right, got it peeled back a little bit here. Let's see, it's a little tart, and this is from northern Cebu, correct?
Yes. Good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you got the sugar all melted all over top of it. The cake is super fluffy. That's pretty damn good.
Careful the paper.
I'm gonna eat the paper too. That's so good. All right, so this thing here. This is called budbud kabut. And I'm gonna ask Ron to explain to me what exactly this is.
Okay, just to give a brief introduction of the kabuk, or like an idea, but from what I know is like budbud kabuk comes from a crop that's usually what's being fed to the birds. That's why it's sometimes called the bird seed. And that's why it's called budbud kabuk, because the name of the bird is actually kabuk, if not mistaken. But for anyone who's in Katmon and can give more details, feel free to prove me wrong. But that's what I learned when I was growing up.
And it's wrapped with
And it's wrapped with
Wrapped in,
banana
like,
or
banana
banana
leaf.
leaf.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Interesting texture.
It is an interesting texture. The flavor is surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would compare that to, but it's tasty.
Right.
I'm a little surprised. You keep talking about bird seed, and it's kind of like, I'm not a bird. Why am I eating this? But it's kind of tasty. The texture of it,
Soft, chewy.
it reminds me, there's
Cassava cake.
Kind of.
right?
But there's something that they have in Malaysia called ota ota. And it is a mackerel that's pounded into a fish paste and then roasted in banana leaves on a fire. It's just fish paste, basically, is all it is. But the texture is very similar to that.
Texture.
Flavor, nothing at all like that. The flavor is good, though. I don't know what to compare that to. That's pretty good. All right, this night with these two here has been fantastic. We just looked at our clocks and our watches and everything else. It's after midnight. We've been sitting here drinking coffee and eating. We will see what else we can get into.
I had a great time with Ron and Ced making this video, but the excitement doesn't stop here. In next week's video, I'll be delving into the world of my next iconic chef, whose name is synonymous with excellence in Cebu. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a minute.